1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
3, 2, 1. Chili's baby back ribs, barbecue sauce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it a second time.
Oh.
And that was going to come in.
Chili baby back ribs. Chili's baby back ribs.
You're supposed to say Chili's baby back ribs,
Chili's baby back ribs.
barbecue sauce. That's how it goes. That's the jingle.
Is it double? It's a double.
It's always a double, man. You haven't had enough Chili's in your life, apparently.
To be honest, I think definitely on one hand, I can count the amount of times I've been to Chili's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've had Chili's 40, 50 times in my life, probably.
Really?
Yeah. You know.
Okay. Actually, I don't mean anything bad by that. Chili's is great. And to be honest, their chips and salsa, their chips specifically, amazing.
But would you say that they're known for their baby back ribs?
No, probably not.
I've never had their baby back ribs before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I say that too because it's actually been kind of chilly recently.
Yes, it has.
It was weird. A few days ago, it was pretty warm. Last week, towards the tail end of last week, it was like mid 70s, low 70s. You would never think it was winter, and then all of a sudden now it's like 45 degrees
And rainy.
Yeah,
It's pouring outside.
Thank God for the
Or
rain.
was.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Good Times with the Boys. If you're seeing this on the tubes and listening to it, you may have heard him. We have back in the building, Mr. Max Moralo on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
And Max looking as beautiful as always.
Yes.
I was like, I can't even trust my own words now. Max is doing great. Max has been up to some things. But 3-man podcast today, Kangsan and myself included as well. And I just want to go on the record and say, you know, through our years of living on this earth, we've been so fortunate to embark on certain journeys, visit certain places, and you know, some more than others, obviously. But you know, we kind of cultured. Okay, we're maybe not jet setters per se. I don't know what your definition of a jet setter is. But you know, today we're gonna do something a little special for y'all. You know, back in the day, I used to have an AIM screen name called the Best Kept Secret. Okay,
One of the best screen names I've ever
thanks, man.
came across.
Thank you. And before that, it was like Pimperoni or something like that. But we wanted to share with you guys some of these places we've been to. Some of them we haven't, but we wanted to share with you some of the hidden gems here in LA and California. Perhaps you already know about these places, or perhaps this might be the first time you're hearing it. But we're gonna share with you guys some places that we've been, some places perhaps that we would like to go one day. Just because, you know, LA is just chock full of a bunch of shit over here. You know what I mean? You can't just, people who visit LA just say, oh, I'm just going to go for a couple days. They don't really get the full experience of LA. Just because, again, there's so many things to do here. So, without further ado, Max, you want to go first?
No.
Great.
All right, guys. Thanks again. See you guys then.
Okay, let me start off with, when I approached this topic, we discussed, hey, you know, let's do some research on a topic that we find would really interest us, just on just a surface level, something where you just say the topic and you just could do research for days, right? The topic started off with just stuff that is not your usual things that we do, but so I initially went into this topic thinking I'm going to look up everything from stuff that we could do just in general to places we could go, whether it's international, national, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
But just because I don't know, when I was looking at this topic, I started off with LA and I spent all my time in LA. But It's just
a testament to how many things you can do. in
yeah,
LA,
it's
right?
just crazy. Like I'm a little bit intimidated and scared if I did continue this.
Quick question:
This
how many massage parlors do you have on your list?
You know, I
What was that noise?
It was the sound of fuck. I should
after
have
a
put massage
few
parlors on my list.
after a few inquiries, I've made myself to put that aside on private time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Respect. I can respect that.
But I do have some mature places that adult people can go to.
Adult people.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not for children.
Okay.
All right, you want to start? You want to start with adult places? Or you want to start with more family oriented places?
Just pick one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let me look at my little list that we got here. Okay, so L.A.
It's a great start.
Okay.
So one thing that was probably one of the top things that caught my eye was this event called Lucha Lavoom. So quickly, let me just go across their website and
Okay.
look up the
Lucha Lavoom?
about section. So it's basically if everyone who likes wrestling but also likes burlesque, if you get those merged together, you get Lucha Lavoom, where you have glam, sexy, extravagant girls wrestling each other with wrestling masks. You get Lucha Lavoom.
Okay, real quick. Are you sure? Are you sure that's Lavoom?
Lucha Lavoom.
Kangsan, how's it pronounced? How's it spelled?
I'll make sure he gets it right. Look at it.
Lucha Lavoom.
That's not an L, Max.
This Lucha Lavoom.
No, the second one.
Oh, Lucha Lavoom.
He just kept going like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, Okay, cool.
Nonetheless, that second word doesn't mean anything. It's just an onomatopoeia. So whatever.
Oh, Vavoom doesn't mean anything?
Lavoom, kaboom.
Lucha Vavoom. Okay, that's I take it that's somewhere in LA, like in downtown LA, maybe. No,
It is downtown LA. Actually, let me not give you fake news and give you the exact place.
because I've been to a couple of burlesque shows myself. One being a brunch burlesque,
Okay.
which was pretty dope. I forgot what it's called, but it's it was in downtown LA also.
What happened, Max?
I'm just thinking about that burlesque thing
Oh,
you're talking about.
Oh. No, it wasn't even. I think burlesque here. I think burlesque differs from place to place.
sure.
I think a burlesque show in New York differs from a burlesque show in Los Angeles, and I know damn sure that it's different from a burlesque show in Las Vegas.
When you guys say burlesque, are you expecting it to be very close to a strip club? Because I don't think that's what burlesque is.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Like a strip show.
Yes.
Strip show.
Sure, but they're not going to get completely naked.
Correct.
Yeah.
They got close in Vegas.
Sure.
Topless. They were topless in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was my first burlesque show that I ever went to.
Oh.
And then so I went to this brunch burlesque in downtown LA, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what it's going to be like. And it was super jazzy, and it was really nice.
And that's crazy that it was in brunch. Usually something like that you would expect to happen at night.
Oh yeah, it was champagne brunch, and it was fun. It was a good show.
So where's Vavoom at?
Okay, so I'm looking at it. It looks like it is in downtown on 1038 South Hill Street, Los Angeles. And they're open they're open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You would think that would be towards at night.
See, burlesque show differs.
Yeah, maybe they do a brunch thing there too.
Oh, maybe they do a brunch thing there.
Maybe.
Oh, it's wrestling there. I was like, what type of burlesque show is it?
Or I mean, or
Wrestling.
it's just a show. So I mean, show times, right? If it's essentially a performance, maybe they just have normal business hours.
No, it's at this moment that I wish we had a medium where we could show what we're looking at or what I'm looking at, because I'm just looking at pictures of Lucha Lavoom
It's all
on
good,
Yelp.
man. People can look it up.
Yeah, luchalavoom.com. Is it luchalavoom.com? That's in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah, just luchalavoom.com.
Okay. You piqued my interest. You have my attention. So we'll probably set up an appointment over there.
This
Set up a
weekend.
time to go
Okay.
after like the massage parlor or something like that.
I do have some kinks that I need to
Hey now.
get undone.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to share while you're here?
Well, I do, but I kind of want to hear what you guys have first.
Okay, I have some family oriented stuff.
Okay.
Quite contrary to what people may believe, because although some people might consider me a vile person, I'm also a family man.
Okay.
Okay, I look out for everybody. I'm not always rated M for mature. You know, I'm rated PG sometimes, right? And a couple of places where
When?
a lot of the times, man.
When? Give me one
Well,
example.
for instance, right now, okay. So the places on my list I've actually been to because that's what is easier for me to think about. And let's start in the beautiful city of Palos Verdes.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay.
beautiful city of Palos Verdes. Pretty high end. It's kind of like, you know, it's next to where we live right now. It's just super bougie for whatever reason. If you don't know what's there, but there is, and I don't even know what this place is called, but that little cove area
Okay.
where there's that bench.
Sure.
Okay, so
There's a lot of benches though.
right. I think, to be honest, I think I went there with Max or Richard or a combination of the two back in high school.
Is it?
You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like the Palos Verdes little. You have to go down some type of hill,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And then you have to traverse around a mini peninsula when you get to this other beachy area that it's not really beachy because there's a lot of rocks there, but there's a clearing in the rocks and there's a bench there just by itself facing the ocean that everyone kind of like tags up in signs and all that stuff. But it's a little bit isolated away from the mountains and all that. You really have to traverse some types of rocks, if I remember correctly. You go around something and then there's like this little cove and a place to chill and all that stuff. And I remember a lot of high school kids used to go there back in the day.
What's the name of it?
I don't know, dude. I forgot.
Is it called Malaga Cove?
You know what? I've heard it called that. It might be Malaga Cove. It might be Malaga Cove. It might be PV Cove. It might be Bench.
Bench Cove.
Bench Cove, because I remember there was a bench there, but I've been there. Okay, I know I've been there and I've seen it before, and it's pretty dope. Obviously, when it's high tide, it might be a little bit dangerous,
Yeah.
but when it's low tide, it's pretty nice. I'm sure a lot of people still go over there, and staying in Palos Verdes for those who are more of the enthusiast of automobiles.
Ooh. Okay.
Back in high school, and I don't know how well they patrol it now, but PV Drive East. So PV Drive East is a road in Palos Verdes, which through the hills and through the residential areas is how should I say, a really windy road that a lot of people who have a fascination with their car or cars go to and just drive up and down the hill, a la Tokyo Drift last scene.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. I do recall we had a buddy, Ray, at the time. I think he had a red Miata or something like that. And I think if I get it correct, he fell off the cliff while he was driving down.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was driving down, obviously, you know, powering down the hill and taking a turn super sharp and going really fast. Obviously, as a young high school kid having a good time. And I think he rolled his car, and I think he rolled it down the hill.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and I don't know if he made that up, but I do remember him having a red Miata, and all of a sudden he didn't have a red Miata anymore. And this is when I first started hearing about all this stuff, and other people that we know from back in the day, like, you know, Richard Kim and all that stuff. They would they would tell us, "Oh man, there's this track up in the hills of Palos Verdes where people drive," and I'm pretty sure it's because I went there maybe a couple of years ago, or sorry, several years ago when I just bought my car, and I didn't see any cops over there, but they say they patrol it all the time. But it's a really cool place to, especially at nighttime. Although I don't condone the driving of this type of driving in a controlled setting, but it's really fun, and it's a good place to check your car steering and suspension and all that stuff, but make sure you do it safely. Okay, that's all that I ask.
Yeah, I think when we decided to do this exercise, my interpretation of this was to pick things that you may not necessarily know about LA, or sort of like hidden gems, so to speak. For me, I'm very food centric, and I think that part of LA that is often not explored by transplants is the South Bay. And for everybody that's in LA, South Bay extends from the beach cities. So you have Hermosa, Manhattan, Redondo, and it goes as far east as close to Carson, Compton area, and you have Gardena and Torrance in the middle. Now, within this little pocket, the reason people don't really travel here is just none of the major freeways go straight through the middle of this area, so it's a bit of a drive for people. But what you have here is a lot of small businesses that are providing a very diverse spread of food.
Oh, yes.
So there are restaurants here that you may have heard of that exist in other parts of LA, but the benefit is the wait times are significantly less. The menu is the same. The service is a little bit better because, again, there's not as many people around. So it's a real benefit if you find yourself in the South Bay to try and check it out. Now, I would say the best kind of food around here is definitely Japanese food, from ramen to udon to yakitori to sushi. There's a lot of restaurants here who have a bit of a lineage. Maybe they came from a restaurant in Japan, but a lot of restaurants here make their own noodles from scratch, make their own broth, make their own rolls and what have you. So that's a very delicious little morsel of the South Bay. One of the streets here is Western Avenue, and Western has maybe about like a 1.5 mile stretch where almost every block has a Korean restaurant. Some of them are all you can eat, some of them are not, but nevertheless you have that option too. So it's like sometimes if you're fiending for Korean barbecue, you go someplace that's not in Koreatown. The next Korean barbecue spot might be a few blocks down, and when you're stuck in LA traffic, it can take you 20, 30, 40 minutes. At least in Torrance and Gardena, if one place is too busy, you can just get in the car, or you can even walk to the next place sometimes and get more food that way. So, for me, the starters is definitely the food, because the South Bay is littered with the same food that you would expect to have in other parts of LA and with less people. So it's a double bonus for me.
Yeah, and they have restaurants where, because many of us have come across where it's late at night and you do want to eat something of quality substance. Say, for instance, if you want to eat Korean barbecue, but it's 10, 11, 12 o'clock, midnight, at night. There are places that are still open here in the South Bay, primarily on Western, just because there are so many restaurants there that you can find a place to sit down and eat for quite some time and eat until 1 or 2 in the morning. Shout out to Huang's Korean barbecue. I do appreciate them. And the thing is, you would think, because there is an abundance of Korean barbecue restaurants, I guess, if you will, and it's all pretty much the same style, but it's not, because there's so many of them. Not one place that I can think of is like a horrible place, like a terrible place to go. Now, depending on your palate, I guess I'm pretty easy to please. When I'm looking for somewhere to eat, I want to get my fix. And again, there are so many restaurants here, depending on what you're looking for. that have some sense of quality to them, and they're not necessarily just cookie cutter restaurants. That each one of the places has something a little different.
I agree with Kangsan. Like when it comes to the South Bay, like you have already the diverse culinary cuisine you could get, but what I really do appreciate is the Japanese, Asian, just generally Asian, but specifically Japanese food. Not only can you get food like Japanese curry, ramen. Ooh, there's a lot of good ramen places here. But if you just want to just get a general outlook or taste of Japanese cuisine, there's so many Japanese supermarkets that once you go in there, you could get accustomed to different foods there. From they have a lot of variety there, and you could try it there that normally you wouldn't get, but because you have like a Japanese supermarket there that sell stuff that you could bring home, like ingredients that you bring home to cook, but also stuff that you could go ahead and buy and eat there. We have that option, and I think my love for Japanese culture, Japanese cuisine, and Japanese anime is because I live in the South Bay.
I see what you did there. Okay,
In the hentai.
Oh, especially the tentacle porn. Oh, I love me the 8-legged slimy.
Yeah. So
I think
And that's how you get people to interject.
yeah, it's what I mean. I can't say, because there are a lot of, for me personally, being a proud Filipino man, there are a lot of Filipino restaurants as well.
Yes.
But I think what they're trying to do, there are a lot of good, and I may be using this incorrectly, but like indigenous feeling Filipino food.
Sure.
Here in the South Bay.
Yeah.
There are a good amount of them. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people or what some people are trying to do now is kind of tap into that fusion, because you have a bunch of fusion Japanese, fusion Korean, fusion Chinese food and all that stuff, but there really isn't a fusion Filipino
The
genre.
thing is with the Filipino food in South Bay, and I have to speak it just because of my experience. I haven't really gone anywhere else, but the Filipino food that's been catered here is more for of the Philippine indigenous people. Something where they eat and they feel they're brought back to home. Something that they feel, but it hasn't yet been kind of transformed for people who aren't a part of the culture to really enjoy. I think Japanese, just in general, their cuisine is very I wouldn't say rudimentary in a bad way, but very basic for other people like who are not Japanese to enjoy. I think there's something where when it comes to Filipino cuisine, you have to do a little bit more to have other cultures dine in with you.
Well, there's always an adjustment period. I mean, Korean food hasn't changed at all, and it wasn't always as widely regarded as it is now. It just takes time. I mean, there's essentially the two ways you can go about it. You can adjust for American taste, or you can just pretty much say this is what our food is. Enjoy it or don't. Even Korean barbecue, for those who may not know, Korean barbecue isn't your traditional Korean spread. Korean food and Korean restaurants traditionally is typically a lot of root vegetables and mostly probably just some fish or some poultry or something, but
not a lot of beef meat.
Yeah, rarely is it like you're getting like plates and plates and plates of beef. It's usually just like a couple, depending on how many people you have, and just a lot of vegetables and rice. So just give it some time. I think Filipino food is it's just going to take time. 15, 20 years of just being in the food game is usually when it comes up, and you still have prominent Filipino chefs kind of opening other restaurants, whether it's Eggslut, whether it's, fusion, I guess. I don't know if you call it like White Rabbit fusion, probably.
I think it's closer to fusion than what a lot of other places are.
But, you
like
have
Kogi.
Yeah, Kogi, that's Korean. You typically have those those moments of people trying and branching out. So it just takes some time. Yeah.
Besides food, Kangsan, do you have any other activities, places that you would like to share with us?
Well, you have, I think a lot of people in LA already know about Museum Row.
Mm-hmm.
And that consists of like LACMA, and then I forgot what else is over there. And then a few blocks away, you have the Broad and the Peterson Museum, and basically you can kind of, that's like where generally a lot of people go for their art in LA.
We got a lot of museums here.
There's a few other places that you can go to really explore art. One of them is the Huntington Library in Pasadena. Now, the Huntington Library is more of a botanical garden, and it features different terrains. You have the desert terrain. You have there's this giant bamboo forest area. You have the koi pond, your traditional Japanese, the water over the bridge with a lot of like different flowers. And,
So it's not a library?
no, but they call it they call it the Huntington Library, but it's out in Pasadena. It's by what's the space place in Pasadena?
California.
Caltech or something. Anyway,
Oh.
yeah, it's over there, so it's a bit of a drive, but it's definitely a cool place. You should definitely check out.
And you got the International Printing Museum,
Sure.
the largest collection of antique printing presses located in Carson, California.
And you also have German's.
serious?
You have German's favorite museum. Also in city of Torrance, you have
Well,
In
the
Tor-
Girls Museum.
No,
no, that's good. In Torrance, guys, in Torrance, you have also like a small botanical garden in their civic center in the middle. So you.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So
that's
it's a nice, peaceful place, and you can go see fish and stuff like that. There's the Friendship Bell, the Korean Friendship Bell in San Pedro, giant ass bell with traditional Korean architecture, hanging over the top of a hill, overlooking the water. It's a really windy, but a really nice place to kind of hang out
And fly kites.
and fly kites.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to the Korean Friendship Bell when it hasn't been blowing like 20, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think that's just the spot.
It's just wide open. That's
Yeah.
why. It's nice though.
Yeah, and then speaking of San Pedro, great place for fish and fish markets, fish food. They have this, I forgot the name of the place. It might be like San Pedro Fish Market or something. You can order any fish that they have that they caught that day. You can have it in the form of a taco, quesadilla, or a burrito.
Ooh,
You
the
just
San Pedro Fish Grill.
something like that. Yeah. You pick the fish and then you pick the whatever style you want it in. So one time in high school, me and my buddy Richard Kim, we went to the place and I had a swordfish burrito.
What?
And I was eating the food. It was delicious. We were driving back, and let's just say that there was some extracurriculars involved,
Oh,
and I was, I got a little high.
okay. I thought you were gonna say that it didn't sit well in my tum tum.
Well, hold on, I'm not
Extracurricular.
I'm not done talking yet.
Like you were playing sports.
So I'm in the back seat. I'm a little high, and we're driving around. And so I'm just like, I'm looking outside. It's nighttime, so all the lights and everything feels like it's going slow. I get pretty cold, so I'm like, oh man, I don't really feel so good. So they pull over to a 7-Eleven. Just around like 11:30 at night. They pull over to a 7-Eleven. We're just hanging out in the car, and I'm not moving at all because I'm just baked. And then all of a sudden, like, I just go, I have to throw up.
Oh no!
So I'm trying to open the door, but it's locked, and I don't make it in time. So it's coming, and I'm like, I don't want to throw up in his car. So I pull my shirt up, and I throw up all over my shirt.
Oh wow!
And
Self-sacrifice.
then they look at me, and then I'm just holding my shirt. I'm like,
Help!
I'm so sorry. So what they had to do was they made me hold it. They cleaned my mouth, like around my face. Then I went outside. I took my shirt off. We threw it away in the bush. They gave me an extra shirt, and then I just went to bed.
Now I want everyone who's listening to this podcast to put yourself in the shoes of the driver. What would you think of Kangsan then? To me, he is the real MVP right there. If that was my car, I would thank him and give him the shirt off my back. Oh my gosh.
I'm just envisioning just swordfish and
Yeah, I threw up the whole burrito. So the lesson here is do not smoke more than you think. I didn't have a high I don't have a high tolerance now, but the difference is I know I don't have a high tolerance.
Right.
So I just have a couple cookies and I call it a day. But back then I was like, nah, man, you gotta have that bravado. You're like, I could do it. I smoked just as much as everybody else, and everyone else was potheads. And I learned my lesson.
Kangsan, practice makes perfect.
You know what? It does. It's been a while since I've thrown up.
Oh, yes.
So
yeah, I have a knack for throwing up in my sleep. But
oh, that's not
Really?
I mean,
I didn't know that.
it's happened a couple times. It's happened.
I knew you as a person who never threw up.
I don't. Here's the thing: I never throw up unless I'm unconscious.
good. And then your body's like, finally, can let this stuff out.
What is San Pedro? That's considered South Bay as well, right?
Yes.
Correct.
The South Bay. Okay. Yeah, the South Bay it's weird. It's an untapped resource. Although
Now,
I
we
mean,
are
live here.
a little bit biased because we are all from the South Bay area.
It's essentially the space
True.
from El Segundo, in between El Segundo and Long Beach.
Right.
It's
right.
the space that nobody explores.
I mean, because people know Orange County, and Orange County encompasses such a large area.
Yeah.
But people, it's weird, like not no man's land, but that area between like the South Bay and Orange County technically is like Long Beach, Lakewood area, and people know those areas very well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just show some more love, to the South Bay. Maybe what actually what I am happy to see is the progression in making Carson specifically look really, really nice.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think especially with like the perspective of back then when they thought either the Raiders or the Chargers were going to move.
Oh yeah,
I think that kind of started it off.
I'm happy they didn't.
Yeah, that would have been
Well, I mean, the Chargers did, and traffic's fucking a shit show over there, probably.
Yeah.
pretty bad. But they also have which I'm trying to parlay this into. So they have that Porsche experience studio, right?
yes.
Oh, yes.
Which is another cool place. I
That is
personally
above
have
my
been there.
pay grade.
Yeah. So I actually looked into it just to see what it would be like just to go there. And we've had a couple buddies that have gone there, but I was looking at the packages that they have for the Porsche Experience Studio, is what it's called. And the cheapest package is like $200 or $300, but you really don't get to do much. Basically, you get to experience the factory cars that they have there on the lot and drive it around the track.
Oh, really?
Presumably.
I thought with that amount, you could only drive your car.
No, I think they give you, or yeah, I think that one of the packages is like a $500 package or something like that, and I think you can choose from a set of cars, but obviously you can't have like the super high end cars like any like GT3 RSs or anything like that, or
What's that? What's GT3 RS?
Porsche Spiders or anything like that. Yeah, so you can't have anything crazy like that, but you can drive around in like a Boxster or something. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna spend $500 to drive around in their lowest type of model for their cars. But I do know that, or what I've heard is if you do own a Porsche, if you are a Porsche owner, then you can test your car out on there, and I think it's considerably cheaper just to drive around the course itself.
There you go.
However, the Porsche Experience Studio replaced a gem, replaced a staple in the city of Carson, a place that I have a kinship to, and that I've brought a lot of people to, and it has brought a lot of fun to a lot of people in the Dominguez Golf Course.
Yeah.
Okay. The Dominguez Golf Course, for those of you who don't know, and I know for the people who do actually listen, you know this is because you too have gone through this place, is a quaint par 3 golf course with, I believe it was 200 hitting stalls that were automated and covered, that was that employed many of fantastic people. One of those people being here today,
Max?
Okay. You wouldn't last a day, bro.
What?
No, actually, no. It was pretty chill. It was pretty chill. It was.
I'm the
best.
best.
Yeah, man. So Dominguez Golf Course was. It's been in movies. It's been in commercials. It was in Get
Really?
Smart.
What movies?
It was in Get Smart. The one with I think it was not Sarah Michelle Gellar. Sorry, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Steve Carell.
Anne Hathaway, Steve Carell, The Rock.
No way.
Shit. Yeah, it was.
What scene? I can't remember.
There was a car driving through a driving range. There was a car driving. It burst through a wall or some shit, and they end up in the driving range. And it's like, oh my god, golf balls are flying and hitting us. That driving range that they use with the Dominguez Golf Course driving
And you
range.
know what's funny? Anne Hathaway is married or is said to be married to a guy who looks just like I think it was Picasso or somebody. And it just so happens that historically speaking, Picasso's wife's name
Is Anne
Hathaway.
No.
shit.
Some shit like that. I don't know. Look it up. I saw it one time. It blew my mind.
Isn't Picasso ugly?
Look at like Anne Hathaway's husband or something like that, and then like
What?
he looks like a familiar, very famous painter, and just so happens that the painter that he looks like, his wife back in the day, is also named Anne Hathaway.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
No way. Is he the dude that chopped off his ear? No, that's Van Gogh.
that's Van Gogh.
That's Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think LA, you have a lot of things that people are already going to be exposed to. You have a lot of different scenes, whether you're going to Hollywood, downtown, the West Side, Mid City. You're going to have all these different unique things. One thing that I found very fun and interesting to do that I did in New York, that I soon hope to do here in LA is what they call Airbnb experiences. Now, people usually can host an Airbnb place, whether it's a room in their house or whatever. Now, people of a certain expertise can host Airbnb experiences. They can use their skills and their network to provide an experience for people that they pay for.
Interesting.
What we did in New York was a bar hopping scene where every bar, the first bar we got a free drink. And you go and you get a chance to kind of meet and mingle with new people. Similar to that, they have something like that here, whether it's a whiskey bar hop, whether it's just a regular pub crawl. You can take hikes with rescue animals or animals that are sheltered. Like you just go out and walk them and hang out with dogs and stuff. You could, sometimes they let you be like a model for a day, and they take you to these like very Instagrammable places, and they take like semi-professional photos of you and stuff, so you can post.
This is all part of this Airbnb experience?
Yeah, there's all these different experiences. One thing that isn't here, and I think it's in Northern California, so it doesn't really apply to this exercise, but I feel like it's very relevant. I think somewhere in NorCal, you can pay some money, a good amount of money, it's like $160 an hour or something, to play with the dogs from Game of Thrones.
Get the fuck out of here.
They have this
Those wolves?
Yeah, they have like a wolf like sanctuary where they raise these animals. So you can go there, you feed them, you pet them, you play with them.
I'm a little wary about those places, right?
Why?
Because in Thailand, though, they have that tiger sanctuary, and supposedly they all treat them like shit and stuff. So here they probably treat them nice.
I hope so.
Okay, I hope so too.
I'd be willing to approach a wolf, domesticated wolf, than
A tiger?
Domesticated tiger.
Well, the thing is, because the tiger, they sedate them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's like
Okay.
But I think they're just dogs. I would assume at this point, at least part dog.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but
Like high quality. They just call them high quality or
good breeds.
Pure breeds.
But
$160, that's nothing, dog. I'm down with that.
yeah, and then we used to have Malibu wine safaris, but unfortunately, I think that got lost in the fire.
Oh no!
That was fun.
I talked about that. Did you go on that?
No,
Okay,
I wish I did.
I talked about that so much last year, and I never went. Fuck.
Yeah, there's so much to do in LA, man. I don't know. It's hard to tell what would be unknown and known to people because it really just depends on who you talk to.
Really quick, in terms of dogs, my sister went to this place a few weeks ago that I was trying to go to as well last week or a couple of weeks ago, or she went there a long time ago. But there's a dog cafe.
Ooh,
in downtown LA. I think it's in downtown LA.
I've heard of the cat cafe, but not the dog
It's
one.
probably the same thing. Where in Japan how they have like the owl cafes, the cat cafes, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where like the owl one, it's like you go basically into this, not a terrarium, but it's you go into this area, looks like a cage kind of thing, and it's just a bunch of fucking owls just flying around. You can pet them and all that stuff. But this place and I believe it's in downtown LA, and I think if you just Google dog cafe, it'll show up that they have the rescue dogs. They also, you can, what do you call them? You can adopt the dogs there.
You could rescue the
dogs there. You can play with the dogs. You can have a cup of coffee. It's like a cars and coffee, but dogs and coffee kind of thing. And enjoy your time there. It's whatever, $35 for a couple hours. The kicker is here's the kicker. They have several packages there at the dog cafe.
Okay.
One of the packages is a magic show.
Ooh. Okay.
A magic show is conducted by the dogs. I don't know how that happens, but obviously it's all for
just by themselves. No,
I'm pretty sure. The handlers are helping them out. Like, oh look, I turned like this water bottle into a chihuahua kind of thing. You know what I mean? I presumably, I don't know, but it's pretty expensive. So I'm pretty sure it's quite extensive what they do during the magic show. But I'm also sure that it all goes towards funding the area and making sure that the dogs
have you guys ever heard of thing called yoga with goats?
Yes, goat yoga.
Goat yoga?
Yeah, definitely a very popular thing in LA.
Yeah.
It's a very LA thing to do.
Goat yoga?
Yeah.
I know
So,
dog yoga.
I remember at work, a patient came in wanting to be treated for urgent care needs. Started talking to me about how she just came from goat yoga, and she showed me pictures of her doing yoga, her being in downward dogs, and a goat being on top of her and stuff. And and she enjoyed it. Like, she really enjoyed it.
This doesn't sound as appetizing because preceding the urgent care center, she was there at the goat yoga place, and now she's at the urgent care center.
Yeah,
There's
actually,
goat
I
poop
can't remember
everywhere.
why. I can't remember why she was there, but I just remember I was like, "You are too happy to be in urgent need of care."
You know what they also have? Beer yoga.
Oh yes.
Well, I haven't heard that. I haven't
did
heard
a video
What's
of that?
What is
Kevin
that?
Hart did a video.
Okay, I think Bert. I think Bert Kreischer did it too. Where you're
Everyone-
doing yoga and drinking beer.
Yeah, everyone gets a glass of beer. You're not doing it to get hammered, but everyone gets a glass of beer, and you do poses, and every once in a while you take a sip of beer.
That sounds. I can get into that.
Or
But
hot box yoga?
You get really high.
You just hot box the whole room.
it's like, damn, I didn't know this was gonna be hot yoga. Why is it so hot in here?
It's not a hot yoga. Hot box yoga.
I'd like to go to that beer yoga thing, but let me just smash a couple drinks before that, and then go into
Yeah, there you go.
go into the yoga place. Yeah, shout out to Dominguez Golf Course. You know, that's gonna be. I'm definitely gonna miss that place. In downtown LA, I'm sure you guys have been here. I took my cousin and I for the first time went to that 71 and above spot
No, what's that?
on top of the Citibank, I think, or the U.S. Bank.
Oh, it's 71 meaning the floors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
the slide?
not that one, no. But yeah, that one's on top of the U.S. Bank, I think.
Yes, that's
Yeah, I think this one is also on top of the U.S. Bank, or maybe on top of one of those really tall buildings in downtown LA, where you check in at the front, and obviously the building itself is a commercial building with businesses in it, and they're all closed. But you just tell them, yeah, I'm going to that 71 and above place, and it's 71 floors above downtown LA. It's a super swanky looking place. Like, I was definitely underdressed because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but it's.
Wait, stop there. Mm-hmm. What do you mean, underdressed? Like, what were you wearing?
I think I might have been wearing like jeans and like a sweater or something like that.
Okay, you know, that's normal day clothes, okay?
I mean, that's true, but then it's not normal when you walk in and people are like suits and dresses and pencil skirts and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was like literally like these. It
What's
literally
pencil skirts?
a pencil skirt is a skirt that a woman wears that is, it kind of, you know how skirts, we typically like them to stop about like 8 or 10 inches above the knee.
Yes.
So basically, it's
Wait,
like
what? 8 or 10 inches above the knee? That's
I do.
really high.
It's a loincloth.
Really?
It's a loincloth.
That Kangsan, geez, that's not normal to you. It's normal to me.
That much above the knee?
Hey, I know what I said. I know what I said. But
It's called panties.
It's a pencil skirt is basically the opposite of a short skirt. It tapers all the way down, usually maybe to the knee or beyond the knee, and it makes the girls walk like ooh, like that,
Like they're trying to walk in a straight line in a sobriety test.
exactly.
Oh, perfect.
Like yeah, and because it looked like the people who were there at the 71 and above bar / restaurant / whatever had just been working at the buildings below and in a very corporate setting, and they just went up there, and I was like, wow, this is pretty dope. But besides that, if you do go there, make sure you dress up a little bit nice. But it was dope. You get to see. We went at nighttime, so that was kind of cool. You get to see
Nice.
all of downtown LA. You can walk around the place. There's areas designated for like reservations for restaurants. There's a general restaurant area. There's a huge bar. They have these specialized drinks based off of your ethnicity or and I remember there was a
That's
drink
racist.
exactly, because there was a drink that we ordered, and the only reason why we ordered this drink is because obviously it had Filipino or the word Filipino on it, and I gotta ask my cousin, but I kind of forgot what the name was, but I think the drink name was called the Dirty Filipino.
What's in it?
It was
Banana ketchup.
It was oh god, it was actually kind of chocolatey, maybe a Bailey's type of base with. Or maybe like I think it was a whiskey base with a little bit like Bailey's liqueur or like a malt liqueur kind of, and it didn't taste very good, and it cost like $20 or something like that. Yeah, so they have these specialized drinks up there. I mean, you can get them if you want, but you're there more just for the scenery. The food is expensive.
Yeah,
the charcuterie plate was expensive, but just to say that you did is pretty dope, and you get some dope ass views.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go back.
That's cool.
Now, we did, by passing, mention another activity, something at the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles. Now, what we did mention is called the Sky Slide. Mm-hmm. It's you might have come across it if you watched talk shows with I think it's with Jimmy Kimmel, where he had one of his security guards, I forget what was his name now, try it out. But it's basically your 70, 80, just really high up in the Los Angeles skyline, and you just ride the slide. Now, what makes this slide special, it's that it's on the outer side of the tower, and everything is glass, see-through. So you're basically going on the slide, at least 80 stories high, riding down the slide, and it's just glass, and you can see everything around you. So
I'd fucking do it.
I would do it too.
That doesn't scare me because I'm enclosed. It would scare me more if I was outside and the wind's blowing in my hair.
Yeah, like the stratosphere type shit.
Yeah,
in Vegas. Yeah, that shit.
That's more sketchy.
I don't know about that.
I'm just like.
But I do want to try it out, just because it is a slide, glass slide that you could see right underneath you, and
I mean that shit lasts for like 5 seconds or something, or 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's very tiny, and I think you have to wear something so you slide well on the glass. So it's. I mean, it's definitely an experience people should have, but also. Don't be so deathly afraid of it because you're in closed space. Right. You're still indoors technically. So
I remember looking at the prices for that because I wanted to do that last year.
How much is it?
It was okay because of the connotation of LA and just the bouginess of it. You would think that they would totally upcharge it and make it super expensive, but it was actually quite reasonable for going down. And I mean, reasonable for you only go down one time, but obviously it's for the people who want to see the outside of LA and experience and all that. But what I don't understand is people who want to do it and close their eyes all the way down to going down the slide.
Oh yes.
So you done just pay like $30 or $35 to literally go down the slide and
for a few seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, for a few seconds. But I think they're still doing that. So I'd be down. I'd be down for that. But because they have something similar to that in. It wasn't a slide. I forgot where it was. I think it was in New York, where they have like that glass, or maybe it was in Canada, where you go into the building and then the glass, the floor is glass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that was that at first was kind of scary, but then I just realized that I don't really have much to live for, so just fucking jump. It doesn't matter.
Wow, that's sad.
Do it.
The truth will set you free.
Do you guys have any others?
I do.
All right, what's up?
Now we're talking about magic with the dogs. Now, I remember my sister was talking about how she had a magician as a friend, and this is this is by passing. This is like a few years ago, and she got all dressed up really nice, and I was like, "Sister, where are you going?" It's
That's
like,
not how you talk to your sister.
That's exactly what it
yeah,
is.
exactly. And she's like, I'm going to a special place called the Magic Castle. And I was like, oh, the strip club? Can I go?
That's Fantasy Castle.
Well,
That's Fantasy Castle. Yeah.
well, when I heard it, I was like, okay, something that's magical.
You heard Magic City.
So she's like, no, I'm not going to a strip club. And she went on to explain how one of her friends is a magician, and invited her and a few of her other friends to a place called the Magic Castle. It's basically an exclusive, how would you say, kind of just a place for people where they could dine in and experience everything magic related.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's a dinner extravaganza event where you have dinner, you can drink some wine, liquor, whatever, but you're in this whole area that's all involved with magic. So whether it's just the scenery around you, the furniture, or whatever,
Like historical magical stuff, or
it's just a magic house.
oh, okay.
So you're there having dinner and stuff. Now they do have magic shows,
Okay, yeah.
but you're in this big mansion filled with things that could surprise you. Like
No, I don't like that.
so you could go down a corridor, you could see the plate in front of you, and I've heard some crazy things that I just can't remember now, but I remember I was surprised hearing what happened. But now what's crazy is that you can't just go in there. You need
An invite.
an invite. Now from a member of that place, and only magicians or you can sign up as a kind of guest who loves magic, but you still have to go through that rigmarole in order to get that membership. And one day I was hoping, maybe one of you guys,
Will become a magician.
yeah, or just be like David Blaine or something like
That's
that.
cool.
And then get that membership.
And then let Max in.
It's like what? Well, why don't you ask your sister's homeboy?
I don't know who he is.
It's because he always disappears.
Oh, yeah. Sucks.
Ah.
Sucks for his children.
Wow.
I got. Oh, he must. Okay, never mind. I got one place.
Okay.
This isn't in the spirit of magic and illusion and kind of like the darkness of it a little bit. So there's a place in Long Beach. There's an area called Midgetville.
Is it really called that?
Let me make sure I wrote that down correctly. Let me see. Oh, sorry, Midgetown. It's called Midgetown. Are
you sure?
Yeah. I haven't been in it, but I've driven past it before. It's a grouping of tiny houses, small houses in kind of like not the heart of Long Beach, but it's out near like the Virginia Country Club areas and all that stuff. It's a community of midgets that all live in like these tiny houses.
Tiny
they have tiny
people.
doors. Sorry, tiny. Is that the politically correct?
Yeah.
Midgets?
Yeah.
Tiny people? Yeah. Dwarves?
We'll just stick with tiny people.
All right, midgets. And so, so it's a group of tiny people that they live there, and they're very aggressive. They're very, very aggressive.
I can understand.
Anyone who goes there who is obviously of not the tiny people type are met with a lot of hostility.
Yeah, they probably have a lot of people just doing shit to them
That's true.
on the daily. They
I
probably
didn't do
get
anything to them.
fed up.
I just wanted to. But see, then it's kind of fucked up because it's like I want to go there to see them kind of make Now it's like a show for me.
Yeah,
you know what
now
I mean?
you're kind of, it's like a zoo,
Exactly.
and that's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. And next to the tiny people town is Igor's Alley.
Okay.
So there's a place called Igor's Alley. It's an alleyway where it's supposed to be haunted, and there's a guy who owns, I think, a house up there, and he hung himself. His name was Igor. Okay, and he hung himself on this archway in this alley that you drive down usually. And some people say that when you drive down during the witching hour, perhaps, or even late at night, that you can see Igor hanging, or I have the goosebumps, or seeing him outside the window, kind of thing. When you're driving down it, don't drive too slow, don't open your window, and all that stuff. So it's for you people who are interested in those scary type of haunting type of things. Then you can go visit that, but don't visit the tiny people town. Okay, they've had enough shit already. But go to Igor's Alley.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, you can bother the ghosts all you want.
Yeah, just don't bother the tiny
That's
people.
what they want.
Yeah.
Let's end this with a story time.
Story time.
I had my surgery last Wednesday for my Achilles. They reeled me in. German wanted to see how far I can count. I counted to 12 before I
Yes.
let the anesthesia kick in.
It's pretty good.
12? Wow.
That's pretty good, dude.
And I woke up, and it sort of just felt like I had taken like a quick nap. So obviously I'm very like hazy, the vision out of my left eye was a little blurry, and I was just disoriented. I looked down, I'm covered in blankets. I look down and I see my foot in a splint. So I'm like, okay, so surgery happened. And I'm looking around.
It's the right leg. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I see, the IV in, and I'm looking, and the nurse comes, and I don't recognize who she is. Like, she wasn't there before. So she's like, oh, you're awake. And then I'm like, yeah. Like, I was like, where am I? Because it wasn't the same place where I started, nor near the surgery area. And she's like, oh, we pulled you off to this other wing or whatever. So, okay, I look at the clock, and it's 3 o'clock, and it felt like maybe just a couple of minutes had passed when I was like kind of just getting a sense of where I am. The nurse looks at me and then goes, oh, shit, I forgot to give you your gown. And I'm looking at her like, my gown, but I had it on. And I look down and I pull a blanket, and I was just completely naked. And then she was like, here's your gown. And she just like handed it to me. And I'm like,
here's your gown. Wink.
I was like, okay. So I put it on. And then she's like, let me go get your clothes. And I'm like, well, why'd you give me the gown then? And then like,
Oh my gosh.
and then she's like, oh, you want me to call your dad now? And I was like, yeah, because my dad was supposed to pick me up. And she calls my dad and goes, oh, Mr. Kim, your son's ready, blah, blah, blah. My dad picks me up and he gets the meds. And as we're driving home, my dad looks and he's like, hey, that nurse called me Dr. Kim. And I'm like, I know, I heard. That was a mistake. And then my dad is like, yeah, she wasn't that smart, huh?
I was just about to say, what's wrong with this chick, dude?
So I don't know if that's normal of me, a guy who wore a hospital gown for an Achilles tendon surgery.
Are you telling me?
And I woke up naked.
You were naked? Well, besides like the blanket covering you?
Yeah,
Yes,
underneath
yeah.
the blanket, I was butt ass naked.
Yeah.
Now,
For an Achilles surgery.
Question. When you were counting to 12,
I was still on my back, face up,
With the gown on.
were you with a gown on?
with the gown on, but I didn't get transported to the surgery table yet. So
But nonetheless, even if you're on the surgery, a gown, especially
Max is so
if,
perplexed right now.
especially if the surgery area is right all the way to the bottom, like you can just lift it up and you don't even have to take out the gown. What was the purpose of the gown being off? For you to wake up without a gown.
it was so weird, man.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah,
I can't explain it.
none of science alert. None of us are medical professionals, so I don't know. Maybe it got in the way. I don't know.
It got in the way of my foot.
I think they were in a rush. Maybe it fell off, and they were like, "Fuck it, just put him on the bed and wheel him out of here." I ain't got time for this shit. Next surgery, kind of thing. Maybe it is a county hospital. You know what I mean? You can't expect pristine conditions and the best of service.
Man, we'll see. Anyway,
I'm glad you're okay though, Kangsan, and I'm glad the surgery went well. Okay,
I'll be in a boot next Wednesday.
Hey.
Go back on the 13th, and from there I don't have to have, hopefully, at least my leg all the way up all the time. I'm excited to get back to the gym to at least start working out my upper body again. And
Now, what did they say about like physical therapy after kind of that boot is off?
they'll walk me through the different exercises and stuff, but
Did they give you a timetable of how long you get close to some type of full movement? And
yeah, I should be out of the walking boot and like into shoes by the summer. But
nice.
and then like back to full strength about a year from the day of surgery. But other than that, it's
and
just
then
a lot
when
of
can you
therapy.
dunk?
Oh man, I wish. That'd be so cool.
When
yeah.
can you dunk again?
So let's just end it there. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter @_GTWTV. If you have any questions, shoot an email over to andrew@gtwtv.com. Find us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want to listen and or see this. And on behalf of Max, Germund, and myself, this was another episode of Good Times with the Boys. And until next time.
Bye bye.
You are